So in today's video, we're going to be showing you two of the best striker DPS builds, and I think you guys are going to enjoy them. So we'll show you the first one, and then we'll show you the second one after that. I'll have timestamps for both of them. Enjoy. But overall, the build will still hit very, very hard and should shred through enemies. The good thing about this build is if you run it in a group, it will definitely help out your group because most of the time they might take some more of the focus fire, allowing you to just really focus on shredding the enemies. So what we'll do here is we'll get into a full build breakdown. I did want to show you some heroic gameplay, and then obviously I do want to show you the same build in Countdown. I was lucky enough to run into a hunter and have a little 1v1. So let me show you that real quick. I did want to show you a little bit more gameplay right here of just look at me just shred through these enemies. But look at this clip right here with the hunter. I was able to shock him with the St. Elmo's, swap over to my rock and roll. He tried to run away, and I hit him with the Banshee pulse, and it was a wrap. No teammates in sight, and that's what I liked about it. I did want to give a quick shout out to Papa Raw. I ran into him in Countdown. I didn't have my headset on, but he said he loved the videos. I think one of the hunters on the other side ended up getting him. He did say, hey, it was a pleasure playing with you before you left. So definitely wanted to give him a shout out. You don't see his name here, but a second ago you would have seen it when I was killing the hunter. Papa Raw, hey, thanks for the support, man. And let's get into the build, guys, because you guys are seeing what this is doing. Just shredding, right? Ooh, baby. Yeah, so this build definitely works in Countdown, and you can run it in heroic content for all of you solo players who just want to farm control points, do those heroic missions in the open world, or just do open world activities. But let's get into the build. So you might have noticed we were running the new St. Elmo's engine. Remember, this one on this build is going to give us about 98,000 total damage. We did max this one out at 23 expertise, but this build will still work with no expertise or anything. So just, and you can run whatever weapon you want. I'm just enjoying this one, and I think it works pretty good with the build because we got 70 in the magazine, plus because we are running strikers, it's going to push up to 978 RPM. We have assault rifle, health damage, and damage to targets out of cover. For our secondary, we are running the rock and roll. You can run the regular ACS if you don't have the rock and roll. We have shotgun damage, damage to armor, and then damage to targets out of cover. And then if you don't have the rock and roll that comes with perfectly extra, you could run something else. Preservation would be a good one on there. In case you kill an enemy, you get a little bit of chunk, a little bit of health back. But yeah, you can run whatever you guys want. For the mask, we are running the Coyote's mask. It's gonna give us 15% weapon damage, 6% crit chance, 12% critical damage, and 12% critical hit damage mod. Obviously, you know, pack instincts, anything between 0 to 15 meters is gonna give us 25% crit hit damage. And anything between 15 and 25 meters is going to give us 10% crit chance and 10% crit damage. Anything over 25 meters really doesn't benefit this build because we're stacked on crit chance on this build. So we are running the Striker backpack. What this is going to do is we are going to be running a 4-piece overall, just to put that out there. We have 15% weapon handling for the 2-piece, 15% rate of fire for the 3-piece, Striker's Gamble for the 4-piece. Weapon hits increase weapon damage by 0.65%, stacking up 100 times. Now, 1 stack loss per second between 0 and 50, and 2 stacks loss per second between 50 and 100. Now, we have weapon damage on here, critical damage, and a critical hit chance mod. And then what we're going to be doing is we are running the backpack, so it's going to increase the total weapon damage gain per stack from the Striker's Gamble from 0.65 to 1%. So that'll put us at about 100%, right, weapon damage on this build if we have max stack, which is very, very good. We go to the Striker's gloves, and we are going to be putting armor on this one, and we have crit chance. We actually are running 2 blues on this because typically when I run my Strikers, I want no less than 2 blues, just how I kind of run it, even when I run mementos. 2 to 3 blues is kind of what I go with, but you guys can play with it yourself. For the knee pads, we have the Striker knee pads with weapon damage, critical hit damage. For the holster, we're running the Striker's holster with armor, critical hit chance. And then for the chest piece, we switched it up this time. Typically, we usually run the Striker's chest piece, and then for the holster, we run the Bacaros. But if you guys are struggling to keep max stacks, this could be a better way for you guys to run it. We have 15% critical hit damage, 15% weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage, and a critical hit damage mod. Now we have Obliterate, and what that's going to do is the critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 5 seconds. Now this can stack up to 25 times, so that's additional 25% weapon damage on this build. If you are struggling to keep the Striker Battle Guild, like the chest piece, stacked, because you know it goes up to 200, if you're struggling to keep this stack like 80, 90, 100%, then maybe Obliterate might be better for you and you guys can run it that way. But definitely try them out, see which one fits your play style, and you can see what you're benefiting from most. I've played it both ways and actually enjoyed it both ways, so it's really up to you, and you pretty much have to see with your play style how you like to run it. We look at the stats, you can see we have 59% crit chance, 152% crit damage. That does not include the 25% we'll get from the Coyote Mask for being within those 15 meters. We get additional 25% right there. We have 75% headshot damage and 21% health damage. Plus we have the 10% damage targets out of cover. So overall, this build is very, very good. And this is exactly how I run it. You can run whatever specialization you like running. I personally like the gunner class. I like running the Banshee Pulse and the Defender Drone, but you can definitely switch this out to however you like it. But this build right here is definitely another way you guys can run it to put out damage. I know I put out plenty of striker builds on here, but I know a lot of people have been asking me about this one, and just wanted to give you my input. Now, while this is actually a really hard hitting striker build, I do feel the hardest hitting striker build in the game is also going to be if you can run the chest piece and keep the stack. Because, you know, when you're at 200 stack, that is 100% the hardest hitting striker build in the game. Now, for me, the one that gives you the best survivability is the Memento backpack. When you compare that with either the Picaro's holster and you run the chest piece, or if you can't keep that stack up, you can run the Obliterate chest piece. I personally think Memento backpack striker builds are the best for solo players just because it gives you that survivability. If you pick up those trophies, you're just hitting very hard. Now this one right here definitely hits hard. It's not the hardest hitting one, but it definitely hits hard if you struggle to keep your stacks up with the striker chest piece. What is this hitting? What is it? 1 million? 1.1 million to the head? 900K to the body? Oh, let's test this bad boy out. So today, guys, we're gonna be playing with the new exotic AR, and I kind of want to just test it out. Just play it, see how it works. We're running it with this striker build that I think a lot of you guys might like. So I kind of want to test it out. I just got to see how it's gonna do. We'll find out pretty quick. This thing is shredding though, I'm not gonna lie. Oh. Oh yeah, that thing is shredding, man. I'm liking it. I'm liking it with this AR.
Incoming hostiles detected.
I don't have the survivability that I had in my other build, but it's shredding. Definitely shredding. Where does this guy go? I don't even know where the other guy was at. Where are they? Wow, this is shredding, bro. That's actually pretty nice. That's actually pretty nice. I'm not gonna complain there. That
Detected.
was pretty nice. We have an elite convoy over here. Maybe we'll get the big boy. Wouldn't that be great?
Supply room access.
Oh no. We got these guys, so let's just.
Detecting additional.
Where are they coming from? Up here? Probably in here. Yep.
Serious trauma detected. Incoming hostiles detected. Detecting additional hostile contacts.
I can't see.
Can't get a shot.
Oh. Where did the guys go? That's it? Yo, bro, this thing is shredding. So let's get into the build and see how I'm running it with the striker gear set. Well, you guys probably know by now, I personally like running the gunner class with most of my striker builds just because of that 10% armor on kill. Not only that, you get rate of fire after you get a kill, and then you also get the Banshee pulse. So some pretty cool benefits for running the gunner class, but you can run whatever specialization you feel works best for you. Well, we are running the St. Elmo's engine, and on this build, you notice it's 104,000, almost 105,000 damage, 978 RPM, 70 in the magazine, and then we did get this to 22 expertise. Now it's 15% assault rifle, 21% health damage, and 10% damage targets out of cover, and then we have the new talent that's actually really good in PvE, especially when you fight rogue agents or any of those agents. The reason why is because when they do spawn randomly, if you shock them, you can melt them pretty quick. Now, at 100 stacks, the next magazine you filled will be filled with shock ammo. So I'm going to have 70 rounds of shock ammo on this. And on a striker build where you're constantly building stacks very fast because of the rate of fire, it works great. Now, St. Elmo's engine comes with 20% crit damage, 30 rounds, 20% weapon handling, and 20% critical hit chance. Now, I'm pairing that up with the rock and roll. You guys can actually buy this week for any of you who've been looking for it. Shotgun damage, damage to armor, and damage to targets out of cover. This one is for sale this week. So if you guys want to grab that one, if you don't have this one, don't have money for it, you can just use a regular ACS 12. I like the rock and roll because of the magazine size. And I'm not trying to kill people with this weapon. I'm just trying to build a stack. So we are running the Coyote Mask. So the Coyote Mask is going to give us weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage, and critical hit chance. Plus, look at this, Pack Instincts. You and all allies gain bonus based on the distance the last enemy you hit. So 0 to 15 meters, I'm getting 25% critical hit damage. 15 to 25 meters, I'm getting 10% crit chance and 10% crit damage. And anything over 25 meters really isn't benefiting this build that much, but it will help other team members if you want to run this in group play. So we're running a 4-piece striker. We have 15% weapon handling. That's why that paired up with the St. Elmo's works really good. We have 15% rate of fire. That's why the rate of fire is faster on the St. Elmo's. And then take a look at this. Weapon hits increase total weapon damage by 0.65%, stacking up 100 times. Now, one stack loss per second, 0 to 50, and 2 stacks for 50 to 100. So we have armor on here, critical hit damage, and critical hit chance. And then obviously, look at the talent. Press the advantage. Increase max stacks for Striker's Gamble from 100 to 200. 3 stacks lost per second between 100 and 200. So that means instead of just 100 stacks, we're getting 200 stacks. So that's even better. And it's even going to get better in a second. So we are running the Picaro's holster. This is then a name holster that comes 10% skill haste. We have armor, critical damage, and weapon damage. The reason why I like the Picaro's holster is because it allows me to run a blue and a red at the same time because we get the 15% weapon damage and we get the armor. So that's going to put us at about 931,000 armor on this build, running 2 blues. For our second piece of strikers, we're running the knee pads. This is going to be weapon damage, critical hit damage. For our gloves, we have the striker's gloves with weapon damage, critical hit chance. And then for the backpack, we're running the striker's backpack. We have weapon damage, critical damage, and critical damage on here. Now, I went with the backpack because I wanted to run the exotic mask, right? Because I can't run the Memento and run the backpack. And then take a look at this. Increased total weapon damage, gain per stack for Striker's Gamble from 0.65 to 1%. And remember, my stack is now 2, so we're gaining 200% extra damage on this build. So that's why you kind of want to run this if you can build the stack. If you can keep the stack up, right? You don't have to have it at full stack, but it's still going to be performing well, especially with high rate of fire weapons like the one we're using. And you pair that up with the rock and roll, they work hand in hand. Like I said, I'm running the Banshee Pulse. I think this is great, especially on builds like this that you don't have a lot of armor. Use the Banshee Pulse. It disorients the enemy and allows you to get in cover, do whatever you need to do. And then I pair it up with the Defender Drone, which is going to give me 24% damage reduction on this build. We go to the stats, you'll see 54% crit chance, 137% crit damage, 75% headshot damage, 21% health damage. We have that 10% damage sharks out of cover. And honestly, that is why we are doing so good with this build. Just to show you the armor on kill, not a lot at 116,000 armor on a 1.1 million armor build. So we go look at the build. That is the build right there, guys. I think if you guys are looking for a build, haven't tried the St. Elmo's with the Striker build, highly recommend it. You could probably run it a lot of different ways. I feel like this one will work great in group and in solo play. Just got to play a little bit different than that face tanking that you would do with the Memento backpack. So this is the build right here. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hey, until then, hey, Nothing But Skills is out.